All right. I'm going to call the meeting to order and ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Turn to the right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now we are at approval of the agenda. So I'll entertain a motion to approve or amend the meeting agenda.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the meeting agenda as given.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor? I'll go with a roll call vote. John?
Aye.
Leanna?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the agenda is approved. So now we are at the renewal resolution, the renewal resolution for a levy for educational programs and operations.
So this is actually a replacement resolution. And as I told you at last Thursday's board meeting that we were working with county officials and with our council to determine if, in light of the new property assessments that went out, we could adjust the part of the ballot language that discusses the rate per $1,000 to reflect the new property values, because we're not changing the total amount we're asking for. We're keeping that at the $3.8 million that we've already approved. It is not changing. But because property assessments have changed, the estimated dollars per thousand is dropping. And so to make that number as close as possible, while maintaining, making sure we're not putting the district at risk by making it too low and our estimate, and putting it in a place where it would make, it wouldn't have a good outcome with our voters because they might feel like we made it too low and then weren't being truthful. We wanted to put it low enough to be accurate and reflect the change in property values without putting it too low. And so we worked with all of the appropriate people, and we're proposing new language. Just the only change is on what is called the millage rate, the dollars per thousand, because property values for the most part increased across our school district for property owners. And we're still asking for the same amount of total dollars. That means the dollars per thousand that property owners will pay is less than the $1.50 that we originally put on the ballot. So we want to reflect that and make sure our ballot language is as accurate as possible. We, as you know, always strive for complete transparency with our district. And for that reason, we have changed that $1.50 to $1.32 per thousand. And that's the change.
Oh, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So just so I get this clear, the total amount that a taxpayer will pay is not going to go up, period.
The total amount that the total of all our taxpayers will pay is not going up.
Okay.
It's
And
the
we're
same
putting
amount that we had on the first draft of this that you already approved.
All right. And the reason we're able, I know you said this and I have it, but I want to make sure I've got it right if I'm asked a question. The reason we're able to go down from 150 to 132 is because property values increased. Yep.
So 132 roughly, and remember, this is an estimate because all of this is an estimate until the levy collection is certified in November. All of this is an estimate. 132 gets us to the $3.8 million. And 150 actually would be over that. So we don't want to say 150 anymore because we don't want to confuse our voters.
Right. So given the rise in property taxes, had we kept it at 150, the voters would be overcharged.
No,
No?
No.
because what we put on those 4 lines on the ballot, and that's why there's an asterisk and it says this is subject to change.
Yeah.
Those don't affect what we can collect. We can
Okay.
only collect the 3.8 million.
Okay. No matter
So I
what.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, not to be facetious, but we could put $5 there. But if we say 3.8 million above, we can't collect $5 because that would be more than 3.8 million.
Uh-huh.
So if we put 150, we can't collect 150 if it gets us over the 3.8 million. Even now, if we have 132, if when we get to November and it's a smaller dollar amount
Yeah.
that gets us to 3.8 million, we can only collect that smaller dollar amount. We can never collect more than the 3.8 million that is the bottom line number on the top of the ballot.
Okay. So in light of the property value change, our 1.32 is an appropriate downward adjustment.
Yes, and again, it's an estimate,
It's an estimate.
just like the $1.50 was an estimate, and those will be adjusted when the county has finished all of its process
All
to
right.
getting the total property valuation of the county certified, and then once the levy is passed, to get our levy collections certified.
Okay. The property debt values have gone up, and so that we will all come out even, we need to we need to lower the amount that we're asking so we collect the correct amount. And this is just an estimate, but this is the amount that, given the change in assessment, we need to collect.
Right, and I can't say that we will all come out even, John,
Yeah.
because everybody's property assessment is different, but we will only collect the 3.8 million. So
Okay.
if it turns out $1.10 gets us to that,
Yeah.
that's all we can collect. If it's
So,
$1.30,
that
that's
helps.
all we
That
can
helps.
collect.
So
It-
we're asking 132. For all we know, it could go down to 110 because we can
Well,
only.
it could. I don't think it'll go quite that low.
Okay.
but
All right. Just as a
It just as an
Hyperbole.
example.
just as a hyperbole, suppose it went down to 110, we could still only collect the 3.8.
That's right. That's all we can collect, no matter what.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure that I have a correct way of speaking.
Okay.
Is Jeremy still on with us or did he
Yes.
go away?
Yeah, Jeremy's there.
Okay. Do you have
I'm here.
anything to add, Jeremy?
I do actually. Thanks for asking, Laura. My hat's off to Dana and her team. They worked really hard this last week, and helped us get through some challenges to lower this millage rate to a little closer estimate than the $1.50 number. And I think, it in itself, that was a challenge. It's an estimate. But in the end, I think it really shows responsibility on the board's part to show the taxpayers and the committee that's been working for the last 8 months. This is a good value for what they're going to pay, and it really shows the transparency that the district is working to collect an amount of money that is sufficient to put the services where they need to be, and no more than that. So. But again, thanks to Dan and her team and the school board for meeting on a Thursday night at 5 to reconsider this. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jeremy. And I think it's important to remember that this number may not be $1.32 on your tax statement. It may be less, or it could be maybe a little more. It just depends on the total district assessed evaluation. And if all we're gonna get is 3.831. That's what we're going to collect. That may mean less millage rate or less per $1,000 for some people. And that's great, but this number is a very fluid number.
It's a very fluid number. So I believe I get it. The imprecision is that we do not know what for sure exactly what the millage rate is going to be. But given what we do know, it is no longer appropriate to charge to estimate 150. It's more appropriate and as close to accuracy as the figures now allow us to say 132. Now it could go down a little lower. It could go down a little higher. Those are things no one knows at this point. But what I can tell you, dear constituent, is that this is the most accurate figure available to us at this time, given the changes that the assessors made.
That's
Correct.
correct. And it's the most accurate figure that that the district can actually support at this point in time. Tomorrow, it might be a different number, but right now, we have a job in front of us to be able to put a proposition on the ballot. And if this number is what it is right now, and I'm assured that it is by our superintendent, then that's what goes on the ballot.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. We have a responsibility. I mean, part of it is we have a responsibility. What causes us to get this number is we have a responsibility to put something on the ballot, and we must go by the most accurate information that we have at the time. We have to submit this, to the what do you call the office that we submit it to? The elections
Yeah.
office.
Mhm.
And so given that, the most responsible thing we can do right now, no one could do different, given our needs and the amount of millage we know now, is say 132. Now I have to caution you, that isn't absolutely fixed. It could go a little lower. It could go a little higher. No one knows that. This is the very best we can do right now.
Jeremy, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, just echo what John says. The number's a moving target. I don't think it will change daily. I think there is a possibility it could change a little bit. This is very conservative on the school district's part. From a levy committee perspective, we're actually hoping that is under by a couple cents. But in working with Dana and her team, she chose and we support the conservative approach to the taxpayer. So it doesn't look higher if it does come out. So I'm really hopeful this will go lower. It's a good number we agreed on or thought is fiscally responsible for both the committee to support and hopefully the school board to support moving forward. And I'm looking forward to utilizing our marketing and strategy team for the levy to put this out and get you guys, get us. I shouldn't say you guys. I got two kids in school here. Get us a levy passed, and hopefully on November 2nd, we're all sitting here celebrating. So I look forward to that day.
Yeah, I like to party with you, Jeremy. So I really hope this passes. I have other reasons for, as well. I just wanted to make sure, okay, we're aiming that there's a total amount here of what million was it?
831,
831
right, Laura?
Yes.
million.
Mhm.
And the question is, how much millage do we charge to arrive at that? Given what we know now, given the rates, given the increase in the property taxes, it looks like 1.32 would be the figure we need to place in order to arrive at our 8.5 million. Now, suppose the property taxes went down, suppose something else happened that they changed the millage rate, then there would be an adjustment. But we have to put something on the ballot, and this is the most accurate figure we have as of now.
Accurate and conservative, John, because
Yes.
we are aiming to not put a number on the ballot
Right,
that has the potential to be lower than what the taxpayer would see when they get their first
Right.
bill. So we're trying to be very careful to be
right.
close to what is represented by the new property tax valuation,
Yes.
but not go so low that somebody would be surprised and get a higher number, because we don't want to create, have that create a negative relationship with any of our community members.
Right.
Well, I want to go on record that I'm a fiscal conservative.
John, also for your sake, when you brought this question up just a moment ago, you said property tax go up or down. The correct thing would be the property tax evaluation going up or down.
Evaluation, okay.
That's the wild card at this point.
Yeah, all right.
1 million is the fixed number. The only other number we don't know for certain is the grand total of the evaluation, because that can change. And that's the driver for where the millage rate comes from.
Yeah,
Madam Chair, can I add one thing too? For clarification?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just some things historically with the levy is the recalculation every year. What this does on the ballot language that's presented in the resolution is it shows that that levy amount stays the same for 4 years. It doesn't recalculate, so it won't adjust, which means that the taxpayer is maintaining the same levy amount for 4 years. So that millage rate should stay fixed, or as valuation, assessed valuation, as Art was saying, goes up, that millage rate will go down over the 4 years, because we're hitting the target of the levy amount. So I know that was a question in previous levies, and that's been fixed with this resolution and what you guys have before you.
and up or down, the amount we collect is still the 8.5.
8.3.
3.8, guys. It's
3.8.
Okay.
3.8.
Yeah, and we need to
3.8.
remember that on the ballot, there is an asterisk there next to the millage rate that says to be adjusted for changes in assessed value. It can go down, and it could go up a little, but I doubt that it will. This is a very conservative levy amount that our committee has landed on, and we have agreed that this is going to get us barely through the next 4 years. And you know, Jeremy, I really appreciate all the work you've put in on this, and I know there's been hours and hours that nobody knew about, where you were on the phone or you were texting or emailing and trying to help people understand what's going on here. And I do appreciate all of that work that you've done.
I approve of Jeremy Hicks.
Thank you. And just so I'm on the record, is we have a really strong committee that's working with me. So we have a lot of really dedicated folks that are here too. As much as I'd love to take the credit, John, and you know me, I normally like to take credit for anything and everything that's good. We do have a really strong committee behind us that's really busting their rear end too. And you know, quite frankly, you have a very dedicated superintendent that's doing the same.
Here.
Yep, we do.
Jeremy,
Okay.
you're noted in this community for your humility.
All right, are there any more comments, any more discussion around the renewal resolution? Nope. Okay, this has not been listed as an action item. Superintendent Rosenbaugh, should we vote on this tonight?
Yes.
Okay,
Apologize for that. This should be an action item. We
Okay.
do need a motion.
Do we
Okay,
need to amend the, do we need to amend the agenda to say that?
No, because even though it says discussion there, under number 2, there is the administration recommends that the board of directors approve and adopt.
Yeah,
so I will entertain a motion
I move that we adopt the renewal of the resolution 14G21 educational programs and operations levy as presented.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All right, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Art?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so the resolution has been adopted as presented. And thank you, Jeremy, for taking the time out of your night to be part of this with us. You've been, actually, we may bring you on board full-time. You just don't know. So now we're at adjournment. I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and the next board meeting will be held on August 19th at 6:30 PM in the boardroom.
Yes,
The meeting
and
is adjourned, and thank you all for taking your time to be here.
Okay.